Welcome back to Twin Tarot. I'm Gary, and this is not David. So, real David is in Mendocino with Michelle. They're going to be there for a week. So, we recorded a couple videos over the weekend, but I'm going to be pretty much doing solos from now until the end of the week. Dave will be back in town on Monday, so you've got me for the next few days. So, what I want to read on today is our dear leader, and it seems like the honeymoon period is over between Donald and Vladimir Putin. Donald is very upset with Vladimir because he's just not cooperating to get Donald his Nobel Peace Prize. We all know Trump said he could fix the Ukraine-Russia war within 24 hours of taking the office, right? And here we are 6 months in and no real progress has been made. And Trump is getting frustrated with Vladimir. He's starting to figure out that maybe Putin isn't playing fairly in this, right? That maybe he was being misled. And so Trump today, he was criticizing Putin and accused him of talking bullshit about Ukraine. And here's a couple of quotes. We get a lot of BS thrown at us by, well, he said bullshit. We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin, if you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless. Yeah, Donald, welcome to the party. You're a little late. You know, the party's been going on for a long time, but at least you're starting to figure it out. That Putin is playing you. I mean, the rest of us saw it. I'm surprised someone as brilliantly smart and have such a bigly good brain as yours haven't been able to figure that out till now. But hey, better late than never, right? So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the energy around Trump's and Putin's relationship. It's kind of going through a rocky period right now. It's definitely rocky, but maybe we'll see the Two of Pentacles, right? So for entertainment purposes only, how's their relationship between Trump and Putin looking right now? Okay, so foundation of the reading is the Six of Wands. That's actually a really interesting card. Because what Trump had said was, yesterday he agreed to send more defensive weapons to Ukraine, I believe in the form of 10 Patriot missile systems. And Russia came back and said, well, you realize that this is just going to prolong the war and cause more deaths. So, the foundation of this is they both want to win. They both want to be the victor in this. And with Putin and Russia, it's by basically taking their gains in Ukraine and holding on to them. Trump's trying to negotiate a peace that's, hopefully slightly more fair in Ukraine's favor. Of course, Zelensky wants Russia completely out of Ukraine, give back Crimea, and pay to have everything rebuilt. So right now, the foundation is victory, Six of Wands. Both Trump and Putin want victory, but I think they're mutually exclusive right now. The challenge is temperance, finding that balance. Because once again, Putin wants all the land he's grabbed. He probably wants the rest of Ukraine too. I mean, that was his concession, was that he wouldn't march on Kyiv and take the rest of Ukraine. That was his big concession. So the challenge is temperance, finding balance, finding that peace. Energy underneath it is chaos. This is just all the crazy stuff that's going on. It's like Trump said, everything that Putin says turns out to be meaningless. Yeah, he's playing you, pal. Maybe Zelensky isn't the bad guy in this, Donald. In the past, you've got the Seven of Pentacles. It was one of those things. If we just get peace, then Vladimir and I can make lots of money. We have lots of opportunity to make lots and lots of money because that's how Trump's mind works. Putin knows this. So that was the carrot he was offering him. Current energy is King of Wands. So that's also a very interesting card. The King of Wands is about taking strong actions. This is like overt actions. This isn't any kind of self-improvement or stuff like this. This is taking actions on scene. So this is the type of, like, if you're going to approve 10 Patriot missile defense systems, that is a King of Wands type action. Um, Trump wants the defense contractors of the United States to start ramping up production of munitions and equipment, because I think Trump is realizing that it's in his best interest to make Ukraine stronger, because that will break Putin's the level of crazy for Putin. You know, all the bullshit that Putin's throwing out, when Putin realizes that the deck is starting to get stacked against him. All right. Overarching energy is the Five of Pentacles. So Trump's feeling like he's been left outside. You know, Trump's got all the things of value. He knows what he wants, but Putin's not giving it to him. You know, Trump wants that Nobel Peace Prize so bad he can taste it, and Putin's not gonna budge. And Trump's, you know, he says, you know, Putin's killing a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of refugees out there, a lot of people without homes because, you know, Russia sort of bombed everything indiscriminately. So overarching energy is, you know, Trump's being prevented from getting what he wants, and people are being displaced because the war just keeps going and going. A lesson to be learned is the King of Pentacles. It's about having the things of value and using them effectively. Both Trump and Putin, I'm sure, see themselves as the King of Pentacles, that they're in charge and they have everything they need, all the valuable stuff and all the money that they need. And it's one of those things where the two of them both want to claim victory and they both want what they want. You know, earlier they were able to agree they were going to, all this opportunity that they were going to divide up. But it seems like it's like the Highlander, there can be only one, right? Outcome, Six of Swords. So moving away, moving to a different location, going to calmer shores. To me, I think Donald is changing course in this. That's kind of what I'm getting, is that he's starting to distance himself from Vladimir and Vladimir's influence. Let's do a couple of clarifiers. What do we need to know about this Six of Swords? High Priestess, it's about secrets. It's about asking the right questions and getting knowledge, more additional knowledge, looking at things differently, two major arcana, and relationships. Okay. So maybe what it is Trump is starting to get information about and knowledge about what Putin's been up to, and realizes that he might need to look at things, to his relationship differently, and maybe start entering into a different type of relationship. And maybe that's with Ukraine. So that's what I'm getting from that. So since, nice little segue, since the cards seem to be indicating, at least the way I interpret them, which by no means means that it's accurate, that Trump and Zelensky might be developing more of a relationship. And Zelensky had even said that he's going to intensify talks on Ukrainian defenses with the United States. So let's look at the energy around Trump and Zelensky's relationship. How is that going? Because, you know, after the whole ambush at the White House with J.D. Vance, and you never said thank you for anything, and you're a terrible man, and you need to give us all your mineral rights. All right, so let's look at the energy between Trump and Zelensky's relationship. Okay, foundation is a Chariot. In the big picture, they're starting to move forward. It's a relationship that is starting to move forward. It's I think the Chariot's kind of like this guy is kind of like the victorious general, and he's moving forward. So it's kind of like Trump may be realizing that Zelensky is the path forward to victory here, not Putin. Challenge is the Nine of Cups, the hopes, wishes, dreams fulfilled, or the smug merchant. You know, the oligarchs, Trump has really placed all of his eggs in the Putin basket in the past. Um, and the oligarchs have been supporting Putin. Um, the challenge is, I wonder if the oligarchs are starting to realize the tide is shifting as far as the relationship, and maybe they're going to try and do something, or it could just simply be more sanctions on Russia are coming, because I know Trump's also looking at sanctions on Russia. Energy underneath it. Trump wants his victory. So yeah, I mean, it ties in beautifully with the chariot. In the past, we had the Ten of Cups. We're just one big happy family celebrating everything. Um, yeah, that's not Trump's relationship with Zelensky at all. I mean, this might have been Ukraine prior to the invasion uh, by Russia, or I just need to reverse it. That Trump was unhappy with Zelensky in the past because Zelensky wasn't giving him what he wanted, which was the servers and all the information on Hunter Biden that allegedly Zelensky had, and Zelensky had no idea what the hell Trump was talking about. So yeah, ten of Cups, uh, celebrating happy families. This what this could have been was, um, in the past, Trump was realizing that he was going to be able to solve this war so quickly, and that everyone would be happy, and rainbows would form, and a Nobel Peace Prize would land on his door. Current energy is the five. There you go. There's the Five Pentacles. Putin's leaving me out in the cold, so I need to go find some place for refuge. There's your High Priestess. So once again, it's starting to get information on the crap that Putin's putting out there, and it's basically giving Zelensky credibility by default. Because since Putin is becoming less and less credible, the more information he gets, it's going to shift his opinion towards Zelensky. A lesson to be learned is the Seven of Swords. So Dave likes to call that the spy in the camp. The way I'm seeing this is Trump is taking his weapons away from Russia, and he's starting to migrate them over towards Ukraine. This could be your defense weapons. It's like, okay, I'm going to pick them up and I'm going to walk them over to Zelensky. Look, Vladimir, I'm taking this stuff over to Zelensky. You've got 10 seconds to stop me. So this is kind of the shifting of the arms, if you will. Outcome, Tower. Okay, so Tower is about breaking down structures, breaking down institutions. This could be just breaking down the relationships. Those are really interesting cards for if we're looking at a relationship with Zelensky, because a lot of this feels like his relationship with Putin. I mean, if you look at it with Putin, is Putin's going to win the war. We're going to get all our hopes, wishes, and dreams fulfilled. Everyone will be, in the past, everyone was just one big happy family under the USSR and Mother Russia. But currently, people are displaced, and I'm starting to get intelligence about what's going on. We need to start shifting the weapons and bringing down. I wonder if this is kind of regime change in Russia. It just doesn't feel Zelensky-ish that he wants to break down stuff, and this could also just be seeing the damage that's been done, and what he can do to stop, basically prevent damage being done to structures there. Let's get a clarifier on the Tower. What does the Tower mean? What does this mean with Trump's energy with Zelensky? We need to do more collaborating. We need to have talks. Page of Cups. Things are crazy. This isn't funny anymore, and I'm not believing what I'm seeing. Once again, this is really weird. So ask a question, get a different answer. my gut is telling me that we're still looking at Putin here. It's that Trump is starting to realize that Putin's crazy, and his loyalty is shifting away from Putin. So, sorry, apologies to that. Ask a question, get a different answer. I don't think that this is attacking, that his relationship with Zelensky is going south. I just don't get that feeling that he's going to tear down Zelensky's institutions. That doesn't make any sense to me. And that's not what my gut is telling me. My gut's telling me that that's more, it's time to change. Maybe it's the institutions in Trump's mind about who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. And maybe it's now I need to start collaborating a little more with Zelensky because the things that are happening out of Putin are kind of crazy. That Page of Cups, and Putin's not grounded in reality as far as what the situation is on the ground, and that's probably that Seven of Cups there. All right, let's look at next steps. What's Trump's next steps here? Because it appears that Trump's finding out. So what are the next steps Trump's going to take in this whole situation with Ukraine and with Russia? Okay, he's going to take bold actions. The challenge is judgment. It's kind of like what side of history do you want to be on this? And what actions are you taking and what consequences are you going to feel for those actions? It's time to stand up and be counted. Energy underneath it, Ten of Swords. So next steps, he wants to put an end to this. He wants this to come to an end. He wants his peace prize, folks. In the past, he had the Wheel of Fortune, didn't know how this was going to end up. We're just not sure what his next step is going to be, because at one moment he's holding up funding for Ukrainian weapons. The next minute he's releasing the money, then he slows it down again, and now he's allocating more. You just don't know what's going on, what's going to happen next with old Donald. Current energy is a Knight of Cups. To me, this is kind of, he's starting to make an offer towards Ukraine. It's like, yeah, maybe we need to have a beer together. Overarching energy is the Seven of Wands, defending from the high ground. Sending over Patriot missiles to help defend Ukraine. Lesson to be learned is the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, maybe don't rush to judgment. Understand the situation, observe what's going on, and then offer a solution. I can't imagine Trump's learning patience at 79. That's just not in his... this is a card of patience. And Trump's just not patient. But that's the lesson he needs to learn, is be a little more patient, a little more understanding. Take time to understand what you're getting yourself into. And once again, outcome is the Five of Pentacles. So next steps, to me, he's leaving Putin out. Now it's his turn to leave Putin out. He's got all the money, he's got all the things of value, and he's going to leave the Russian troops out in the winter. Maybe that just means by wintertime, the Russian troops are really in a bad way. They're making some gains on their summer offensive, but summer is not going to last that much longer. We're already past the summer solstice, so we'll see what happens with that. Anyways, that's what I got for you. So maybe Trump's finally starting to figure it out. But with Donald, the energy changes hourly. So, it's whoever talks nicely to him last is the one that has the influence. But thank you for tuning in just the same. If you like these videos, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and hit the bell. We'll wake you up at midnight Pacific time with a new video. My wife just said, oops, going around. My wife's flying home from Houston, so she's now flying around the house. Apparently, they were due to land in San Francisco in about 10 minutes, and I guess they're doing a go around. Okay, so let's do a couple of shout outs. Let's give a shout out to Tammy West. Hi, Tammy. And former President Grumpy. Hope you're doing well, Tammy. We're going to give you the Ace of Cups. Yes, Tammy hasn't had a shout out for a while, so hopefully she wasn't getting her feelings right there. What else we got here? Oh, Jane Vanotti. She was wanted a shout out, a romper room style shout out. So hi Jane, glad you're watching. Hopefully you're watching. Here's your shout out that you asked for, and let's get you a nice card out of this. King of Swords, Jane. I gotta do it without the glare. King of Swords. Give them your truth, Jane. You tell it like it is, and they're just gonna have to listen. And Tishy J2, who would also like a shout out. Tishy's message kind of cracked me up because it says, I'd like a shout out, please. I never saw Romper Room. Well, if you never saw Romper Room, then you don't know the disappointment of not having had your name shouted out. But just the same, here's the shout out. So now you would know what it feel like when you were watching Romper Room and Miss Marianne or whoever your teacher's name was locally said your name. So you get the sun card. Here comes the sun. Light is shining on you. Okay, we get rid of that. And I think that's, yeah, that's all I'm going to do. I've got another shout out, but I'm going to do that for my next video. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and a card for the rest of us. Oh, hey, once again, we're all going to get the sun today. Let the light shine. Let the truth come out. We need it. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Take care, folks. Bye.